yoga. It is a Sanskrit word. The verbal root of this word means to join or to become united. So there are some 4 important methods which are used in Hinduism to join with the divine reality or God. So I will talk about that a little this evening. And our scriptures teach us that we are all divine. Whether we know it or not, we are all divine. And we all go through 2 experiences. One is the waking experience, the other one is the dream experience. There is a third experience which is called dreamless sleep, but that is not that important. So this experience that we have while we are awake and the experience which is called dream experience. And when we are in our dream world, we see many dream people and dream objects, even mountains, rivers, lakes. And at that time, as dreamers, we do not know that those are all the creations of our own minds. If someone in my dream world comes and tells me, Swami, what you are seeing is all your imagination, then perhaps I will say, are you joking? See, I am real and you are also real. Then suddenly a hungry tiger appears there and is about to jump on me. Then I get scared and the dream world is gone. Then you wake up to this world which we experience in the waking state. But the sages of Hinduism say that this world which we experience during the waking state, that is also another dream. And the dream world got dissolved due to what? Due to that tiger appearing there. So the dream tiger is responsible for the dissolution of the dream world. And about this world, which is another dream world, that's what Hinduism teaches. In this world also, there are some dream tigers, so to say, which can help us to wake up from this dream. And our scriptures say, Uttishtata, Jagrata, Praipya Varan Nibodhata. Make effort to wake up. You are like so many somnambulists, daydreamers. Wake up. And finding the superior ones, be enlightened. Know what is the truth. And the superior ones are the divine incarnations. They look like human beings, but they are full of divine consciousness. It is they who are the superior ones. With their help, we can get out of this dream which we experience in our waking state. That is called enlightenment. Then we come to know that we are not puny little human beings, we are divinity itself, where there is eternal peace, and which is infinity itself, the divinity, and it is eternity as well. It is beyond time, space and causation. And that state is sometimes mentioned in our scriptures as Anandam. Anandam is translated into English as bliss. English language is quite young compared to the language in which our scriptures are written. Our scriptures are written in Sanskrit language. Its vocabulary is the largest in the world. It is no longer a spoken language, but this language, as a language, this is the language which has the largest vocabulary. I have a friend in Honolulu. He is a teacher in the University of Hawaii, and his name is Mr. Maurer. And he teaches different languages, etc. And during my many visits to Hawaii on invitation, he became very friendly to me. And he would always like to come and sit next to me and talk about the Sanskrit language. And one day I said to him, Dr. Maurer, Sanskrit I have heard has the largest vocabulary among all languages, whether old or new. Then he said, no, I think Latin has larger vocabulary, he said to me. Then I learned that from him. I thought, oh, I see, so Latin. Then the following year when I went to Honolulu, Dr. Maurer came to see me and he said to me, Swami, I was wrong. You were right. Sanskrit has the largest vocabulary. That's why, you see, I have to say that because I have to quote some Sanskrit expressions and I will explain to you. Sure. Yoga means union. Union with what? Union with divinity. As long as we are in this world of time, space and causation. And why are we in this world of time, space and causation? We are divinity. But it is because we are entangled with something which we are not. The owner and the object owned cannot be the same. As the owner of this body of mine, I cannot be this body. My senses, my other physical strength and so on, because I own them. What about my mind? I own my mind also. As the owner of my mind, I have to be different from it. But something has happened there. I have somehow become entangled with that mind due to ignorance, I would say, of our true nature, divine nature. And that's why, because we are entangled with the mind, because the idea of our individual existence is a thought in our conscious mind. So there we have become entangled with the mind, we cannot get out of that mind. If you can get out of that ego, then there will be divinity. So this is the purpose of all the yogas, to help us get out of this ego. Then we experience divinity. So among the, how many yogas are there? Mainly 4 yogas are there. There is a fifth yoga. If I have time, I will talk a little bit about that. So what are those yogas? These yogas are, several yogas are there. Why? Because people are not of the same temperaments. Some people by nature are emotional, and then some other people are there who are ultra rational, and then again there are some people who want to control their minds, concentrate their minds. Then again there are others who are habitually overactive. They cannot stay quietly, they have to always go on acting. So considering these four types of people, these four yogas have been introduced by the sages of Hinduism. Let me first talk about that yoga, which is called Raja Yoga or the Royal Yoga. And it is meant for those people who want to control their minds and concentrate their minds, gain mastery over their minds. So one sage whose name is Patanjali, he wrote a book giving giving instructions about how we can achieve that, how with the help of our concentrated minds we can experience divinity eventually. When the mind becomes concentrated, it becomes like a laser beam. So in a laser beam all the photons are traveling in a straight line. So also the mind can be made like a laser beam. Then it will transcend this world of time and space and causation, and by being, and will be one with that transcendental divinity which is called Brahman. Brahman means larger than the largest in Sanskrit. Anyway, so this Raja Yoga or Royal Yoga, it's the sage who wrote a book on that, his name is Patanjali. He first says yoga chitta vritti nirodha. That is, this yoga means learning how to control the thoughts, getting rid of thoughts, bringing the thoughts totally under control. That's what he says. Then he gives an 8-step discipline by following which one will reach the goal, which is experiencing divinity. There, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. Yama means some restraints in regard to our external behavior. Yama means not to commit violence to anybody. Yama means not to steal from others. Yama also means not to think of having carnal relationship with a member of the opposite sex. Yama also means non-stealing, and Yama means not condemning others, and also Yama means not to take bribes. That is also mentioned there. Not to take unnecessary gifts from people. This is Yama. And the next one is Niyama. Niyama means learning how to restrain your mind. How controlling the mind and thinking of divinity or reading spiritual books and keeping your body and mind clean, and the tendency to submit to God. These are Niyama. Then asana. Asana means to practice our spiritual this spiritual practice which is prescribed by this yoga. He said that you should have you should know how to sit comfortably to think of all these things. And that is called asana. And then pranayama. Pranayama is a kind of breathing which can help the mind to become calm. Yes. So, and pratyahara. The mind is scattered. The mind has to be withdrawn from outside. And it should be fixed on the thought of God. And that fixing is called dharana. And when the mind is concentrated on God, then when the concentration becomes quite keen, then it is called dhyanam. And when that, or meditation, when that meditation becomes very mature, then it experiences union with divinity. Then the mind melts away in divinity. And that is called samadhi. And nirvikalpa samadhi is all there. So, talking about all these things, Patanjali says at the end, all this can be achieved, this divinity can be achieved by surrendering to God, Ishara pranidhanena va. And so, or in other words, he is hinting that there is another yoga which is the path of devotion, devotion to God. That is called Bhakti Yoga. Those who are emotional by nature, they can be devotional by nature also, and they have to look upon God as either father, mother, or even as a child or friend. These are all allowed. And love God. We have got that emotion, love. All this love has to be focused on God, to devotion. This is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti means devotion. So our devotion, our emotion will become devotion, and when it will be focused on divinity, then we will experience divinity. Those Sri Ramakrishna used to say that this Bhakti Yoga is the proper yoga for this age, this day and age, Bhakti Yoga. We should look upon God as a person, because we focus all these personalities on that infinity which is Brahman, and infinity appears to become a person. I easily use my own analogy. The Seattle sky is usually grey because there are clouds. But let me suppose there are some people with different colored eyeglasses. One has a pair of red colored eyeglasses, the other one is green, then still another one is blue. So when they look through those colored eyeglasses, the grey sky will Seattle will look reddish, greenish or bluish. These colors are not changed by the sky itself. Those are all projected by the colored eyeglasses. So every person's mind is like a pair of colored eyeglasses. So not two people's minds are the same. And so this as we have limitation, so we project personality on that divinity which is beyond any kind of limit, personality. So the sky which may not have any color, but on that we focus all those colors, red, green, blue, etc. And so human minds, we cannot think other than personality. So we focus human personality on God. But the defects that human beings have, God does not have. God is more powerful and all that. That's why you see in Bhakti Yoga one can look upon God as father, as mother, even as child, or one can look upon oneself as the child of God. So, and in all these attitudes, that common factor is love. Love. So you have to learn to love God. And through Bhakti Yoga, a devotee eventually purifies his or her mind and has the experience of God with form. They go to a plane of existence where divinity is present in acquiring a form. That is sometimes called Brahmaloka. Those who are devotees of Sri Ramakrishna is a divine incarnation. They think that, and after their death they will go to Ramakrishna Loka. And being there, if they have the wish to experience that divinity which is Brahman, timeless, that is eternity, infinity and infinite consciousness, then Ramakrishna will grant us that experience. This is about Bhakti Yoga. And those who are ultra rational, they cannot accept anything which does not satisfy their sense of reason. They think that this world can be an illusion. It is always changing. It is an illusory world. And so such a person may come to a teacher of this yoga, which is called Jnana Yoga, and he say, I dismiss all this world and everything as only hallucination. I think that they're hallucination. Then the teacher will say, yes, you may dismiss everything, but you cannot dismiss yourself as the doubter. You must exist to doubt that this world is unreal, is an illusion, but you must exist. You try to know who you are. Then the teacher will say, the owner and the object owned cannot be the same. You have a body, but you are the owner of that body. So you cannot be your physical body. You cannot be your physical strength either, because you own it. In this way, you cannot be your sense organs. You cannot be your mind also. And you think that you exist, that means you have the ego. That ego is located in your mind. It is a thought of your conscious mind. As the owner, you have to be different from it. So try to do that. how can you do this? I am not my ego. I am that infinity, Brahman, divinity. That's what you have to think. So a person who follows this path is called a Jnana yogi. So a Jnana yogi eventually experiences divinity as identical with himself. At that time the ego will disappear. But Sri Ramakrishna used to say that as long as you have the ego left in you, you cannot dismiss the world as unreal. You should accept this world as real. And then how will you get out of it? With the help of Bhakti Yoga. And then there is another yoga which is Karma Yoga. Some people are habitually hyperactive. They have to be taught a method by which they can experience God. So they are asked to perform their activities. And what is activity? Karma. That also has been defined in Hinduism. That is Indriyanam Vyaparaha Karma. Well, all the sense organs and motor organs there and the mind get involved, that is action. So there can be mental activity, physical activity. All these are activities, these are karma. So you have to perform, no matter what action you perform, selflessly. And the selfishness comes from the idea which we call ego, I am. That's unselfishly you have to perform. So whatever you do, you think that you are doing that as a service to God. That is unselfish. When I first joined the monastic order, in that center there was a Swami who was very much evolved. His name was Swami Bhaskarananda. One day he came to me, just after a few days of my having been in the order, he came to me and pointed to my body and asked, whose body is that? I said, Swamiji, this is my body. And he smiled and said, no, that is not yours. It used to be your body, but since the day you joined the monastic order, our monastic order, it has become the property of God, or Sri Ramakrishna. It is no longer your body. So, and he used to believe in it. So, that means I am not my body. He taught me. I am not my body. This belongs to God. And so, this is part of Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga combined. And then once I met a holy man, wandering holy man. He was seated under a tree. Then I was a young man. I became curious and went and sat before him. There were a few others there sitting there, listening to that holy man. Then I asked that holy man, sir, where do you live? He said, I do not live in any place. I wander from one place to another. I stay in one place for maybe 7 days and then go to another place. This is what I do. Then I said, but while wandering, if you fall ill, what do you do? Then his eyes blazed and he, pointing to his body, he said in Hindi, Are ye to kaya dand hai. This body is only my cane. I am not my body. I will throw it away. That I heard. Yes, this is also taught by Vedanta. This idea is present in Jnana Yoga, very much. I am not my body. Okay, thank you for listening to this talk. Okay, I hope I'll see you all again. Thank you.